The box office chances for The Mandalorian Grogu are dropping like crazy, but Pedro Pascal, he's too busy. Instead of marketing, he's talking about Paramount and Warner Brothers and why he doubts they should be allowed to merge. No, seriously, we're on the verge of a brand new Star Wars film, and Pedro is busy weighing in on business matters not pertaining to him. What is going on? Well, folks, what if we told you we believe now Disney knows Pedro is a no-go with audiences, and maybe this time the only guy who can try to promote Mando is Jon Favreau himself. Welcome back, one and all, to the channel that heeds the call for explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. As we dive in today, consider clicking the like button, and we'll explain what's happening with Disney, Paramount, Warner Brothers, and wouldn't you know it, Pedro Pascal at the heart of it all. Pedro Pascal won't stop. He's dropping down the box office for The Mandalorian Grogu even more. And how is he doing it? Well, take a look at this from Variety by Mark Malkin. At a time when Pedro should be out there trying his best to push the new Star Wars movie, instead, he's doing something that has a 0% chance of success. Florence Pugh. Yeah, well, okay, get Marvel in it as well. And Pedro Pascal and more join fight to block Paramount Warner Brothers merger as open letter surpasses 2,000 Hollywood names. Let me say again, this has a 0. Actually, it may have a less than 0. This might actually go in negative. And you say, Pro, it can't go negative. Oh, yes, it can. This actually might be something that tells the feds, we should definitely do it because the celebrities are against it. So do it even more than we were going to do it. 2,000 Hollyweirds have said, don't let Warner Brothers and Paramount join forces. 0% chance of effect here. Florence Pugh and Pedro Pascal are adding their names to the now more than 2,000 Hollywood industry professionals who have signed an open letter opposing the Paramount Warner Brothers merger. New signatories include Edward Norton and Asuko Okatsuka. Joaquin Phoenix, Ben Stiller, and Kristen Stewart were among the original signatures on the letter when it was initially released Monday, April 13th. Took 2 days for Peepaw to sign. We are deeply concerned by indications of support for this merger that prioritize the interests of a small group of powerful stakeholders over the broader public good. The letter, published by the New York Times and available on blockthemerger.com, the integrity, independence, and diversity of our industry would be grievously compromised. Competition is essential for a healthy economy and a healthy democracy. So is thoughtful regulation and enforcement. So we went to the very stake of the nation here, Derek. But for Disney, the stake of all of this is, hey, Pedro, what are we going to do about Mando? And he's busy doing this. Again, Derek, this has 0. Like there's nothing that will happen from this at all. The celebrities are probably encouraging the feds to accept the Paramount Warner Brothers deal. Derek, why is Pedro still not out there promoting Mandalorian Grogu?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks it's a lost cause because it is. I guess. I don't know. And trying to put his weight behind something he thinks might have a chance. There's less of a chance of Mando making money than this thing going through. So I don't know. I think that the celebrities are all, they got some sort of derangement. Let's just say that in regards to, Paramount taking over Warner Brothers. And so, here we go. You're going to see a lot of this type of noise going on for the rest of this merger while it goes through, because it's going to go through. There was none of this when Disney was taking over Fox. I don't recall. Was there any of this argumentation from the celebrities? So yeah, this is all about derangement. They're just mad and they're not happy about it. And they can go outside. There's some rocks to kick, but this isn't going to change anything. Okay, so
sand a pound.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like you said, Pedro Pascal, people are kind of tired of him. Him throwing his weight behind any of this doesn't really do anything for his cause. He would be better off just trying to stay silent, maybe, quietly promote Mando and Grogu. But I don't think, I think there's nothing that anybody can do for that film. I think that film is just already, a done deal.
Well, to that note, culture, Giant Freaking Robot agrees with what Derek Anderson is saying. And I'll guarantee you that Giant Freaking Robot does not often agree with the DA. Because the DA is right and they often are not. But Chris Snellgrove here says the next Star Wars movie is already a flop. Yeah. Like it's already, they're not defending. Listen, this is what's crazy, culture. They gave more positive praise to Hoppers, a $150 million flop at the box office about a girl being implanted into a beaver. They defended that more than they're defending the Mandalorian Grogu movie, which really says somebody behind the scenes has told them, we're in trouble here. Right, Culture?
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, behind the scenes, they are in trouble. Pixar was in huge trouble. Pete Docter was supposed to be riding the ship that his predecessor, was trying to sink willfully with things like Turning Red and other hot garbage. Same thing was happening with Star Wars. Star Wars is a pile of hot garbage. And the last chance, the last ditch efforts for Star Wars, and only because Ryan Gosling is in it, is the Starfighter thing, which, from what I'm to understand about the story, is not going to be very satisfying to actual Star Wars fans. So, yeah, Disney's in trouble. And why do you think they laid off 11 billion people today? And there's more on the way. They're not. Look, I talked about this in an article I wrote for That Park Place a few days ago. I'm not sure if it's been posted yet, but we're just at the beginning of the layoff cycle. There are more layoffs coming, Pro. More.
Lauren, you're muted.
Yeah, I saw it. I think that's almost certainly true. But one of the things that I'm questioning about them doing this is, what in the world do they think they're accomplishing here? This seems to me, it's like this has absolutely no chance of having any kind of impact whatsoever. What do they think would happen if the merger didn't occur? They already had a fight between the studios that wanted to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, and if one of them wasn't going to acquire it, the business was already in trouble. It's just going to be a studio that goes under if they don't find a buyer. So all you're doing now, it seems to me, is putting a target on your own back and anchoring the studio that's picking up.
Well, let's to that end, let me add this, Lauren, for context. David Lindelof was one of the people that was having the biggest whiny cryy fit, because he knows that he and his brand of politics aren't going to sell anymore, and he doesn't have anywhere left to go and peddle them, because Disney's pulling out. They're starting to figure out that, things are bad. Hoppers being an indication of that. You have Paramount switching directions entirely, still trying to hang on to whatever they can from Taylor Sheridan until his deal's up with them and he moves over to Comcast Universal. And then you have, the fact that the Skydance is still one of the biggest funders and financiers out there in partnership with Legendary Entertainment. So there isn't another suitor out there other than Netflix, and that was going to lead to disaster and very definitely some real challenges to whether or not that creates a monopoly. And we had the results of Live Nation today and their monopolistic practices case, where Live Nation lost in a jury trial, and they were basically found guilty of violations of the Sherman Antitrust Act. So, yeah. You're 100% right. But this deal's done. I agree with DA 100%. They can whine and cry, but somebody's got to, as you were pointing out, somebody's got to take over the lead here and lead them back to prosperity.
But if I could ask a follow-up here, I mean, I don't think that the studios are. Damon Lindelof will still find studios to release his work. I don't think it's that we're suddenly going to swing the pendulum all the way to the other direction. I think that they're just going to move more towards the center and tell stories, hopefully from both sides, or at least allow a few from our side to get through.
But okay, J.J. Abrams got nothing out of that deal, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but he made like one pitiful little movie for Warner Brothers Discovery after signing a $250 million at minimum, $500 million at maximum production deal with the Warner Brothers, right after the Reverse Morris Trust spin, right? You guys remember that back when they were building large mansions and everything?
And now JJ is cutting positions, which is hard to, it's like, man.
Didn't he do a Batman series, a Batman animated?
Yeah, an animated. That was the only thing that came out of that was an animated Batman. Yeah, 100%. And look, I mean, I did coverage of that, a video of that, but it's just, people are not interested in unsuccessful things. And right now, the studios, almost all of them, are unsuccessful. Warner Brothers can tout that they did well last year, but that's because they didn't release anything by J.J. Abrams. They actually released some high-quality products. I mean, there's a decent chance that, Amazon goes out and releases some quality things. They just did. I mean, we got Project Hail Mary out of them. I'm not really as excited about the Motu movie, and we can talk about why another time. But I feel like there are limited numbers of ports you can park these ships in anymore, and the fact that they're consolidating is only upside. And if you are literally Paramount Skydance combining with Warner Brothers, Discovery, you now have to create material to fill all those various platforms and all those various places, which is why their plan to produce over 30 movies a year is a good one. I'm looking forward to that if it comes to pass. But this deal has to be buttoned up by July, and the vote's coming up in less than 10 days, 7 days.
It's going to go through.
Yeah,
Trump, for no other reason than Trump wants the Ellisons to have CNN. That's it. Wiz, I've got a theory.
Yes.
Theory that I have is the reason that Pedro is doing this kind of stuff, and this is there's nothing else. The reason he's doing this kind of stuff instead of promoting the Mando and Grogu movie right now, and we are 4 weeks away, and the premiere is going to be way before that in terms of the red carpet. Wiz, I don't think it matters if Pedro goes out there and promotes it. The only person at this point that I think can actually promote the film is Jon Favreau. That's it. He's the only guy that fans will listen to, and I don't know that he's going to matter, but he's the only one who can push the needle. Pedro may have actual negative impact. Like if he promotes it, it makes people less inclined to go. I don't know that Dave Filoni has any sway with fans. Sigourney Weaver, no. There's nobody to promote this. There's nobody, Wiz.
This is an interesting topic because, so firstly, I just want to say, no, you're 100% correct. No one can promote this. Star Wars needs to reach Gen Alpha if it's going to continue to live. Gen Alpha doesn't know who Sigourney Weaver is. Pedro Pascal cannot sell a movie.
Fair to say.
No one cares about Grogu anymore. Grogu had no arc. He's cute. That's it. Everybody already has all the Grogu merch they could possibly want from 7 years ago.
And they aged out.
And so it doesn't matter if he's promoting it. What is interesting, though, is there is 39, as of the time of us recording this, there is 39 days to go before Mandalorian and Grogu. We have gotten a teaser trailer. We have gotten a Super Bowl trailer that was embarrassing. And then we got a full trailer of which we don't know what the story is going to be. It looks like it's going to be a 2002 direct-to-DVD Disney movie, but they decided to put it in theaters where it's just 3 stories packed together and shipped.
That was Moana 2.
That was Moana 2. So they're still doing that now. But you look at this. I think it's 2,000 people signed that petition. Petitions don't even mean anything anymore.
1,800 of them we've never heard their names before, but yeah,
we've never heard their names before. But the point of that is, that's the smoke and mirrors of it. That is we're doing some social media. We're doing a little PR. Let's do a little PR together. That's all this is. They know they're not going to do anything. They know they're not going to make a difference, but it pushes and reaffirms their modern sensibilities to those that they're trying to pander to.
Sure.
That's all it is. They're still going to get jobs. Or at least they think they're still going to get jobs, right?
Well, look,
and
Mark
Pedro
Ruffalo
Pascal isn't going away anymore.
Mark Ruffalo,
he's in.
Yeah, he's been with Spider-Man, and he is one of those people that I believe actually hates people like you and I. He hates us.
We see, and correct me, I'm probably wrong here, but it's just the feeling. We see more every month. There's another Mark Ruffalo movie. It may not be it may not be getting promotion, but every month or so, there's a new Mark Ruffalo. He's in something else again. How is this guy getting all this work? Same thing with Pedro Pascal. It's like, how are they another Pedro movie, another Mark Ruffalo movie,
and none of it succeeds unless they piggyback them onto something popular like Spider-Man. And Pedro can't even save Star Wars. Ruffalo couldn't save She-Hulk. These people by themselves are not popular. It's the Seth Rogen effect, where we look at it and we say, what are you doing? How can Seth Rogen seriously make every new TV show there is? How is that possible? And yet, there he is again. Yay. At least he wasn't Donkey Kong. At least that went away. Lauren, I'll give you the final word on this. Your thoughts on Pedro Pascal actually having a negative impact? Is there anybody besides Jon Favreau that can sell this thing to the public?
It's hard for me to think of anybody that could. the only thing that I can think of is if there is some. One of the questions I've had is I agree with you, Wizard, that they have not given us any story details in the trailer. I feel like that's deliberate. It means either they don't have a story or they have a story that they're trying to keep secret from us. If they are trying to keep something secret from us, then whoever is involved in that could promote the movie, but then it would spoil the secret. So I gather they don't have anybody in the pipeline.
All right, folks, we'll keep an eye on it. But right now, I'm going to say things are looking worse for The Mandalorian by the day. When is Disney going to reverse it? Don't know. But we see no signs as of yet that they've got this thing figured out. Folks, it's time to bid you adieu, but we hope that you will help us anew. And that is, we're only asking you click that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. And oh, by the way, have you gone the way of thatparkplace.com? www.thatparkplace.com. It's the website that if you're not yet bookmarked to, well, you should be. A bastion of truth and knowledge when it comes to entertainment and everything that's going on. Go check it out today, folks. We would love to have you over there as well. All right, we are getting ready to head out, but do not fret, for we will put out 4 more videos tomorrow, so long as the good Lord allows. And we believe that probably, just might, happen. All right, until the next time we get to share time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.